Rosie has come a long way since arriving on the island. She is now a cheery, hard-working little engine who has proven herself to be very reliable. When Rosie first arrived, she could often be excitable. Most engines didn't mind this, but Thomas did. One day, Percy felt ill. The inspectors looked him over carefully. "You need your tubes replaced," they said. Percy was concerned. "But who will look after the goods while I'm away? Toby is busy and Daisy won't do it." The inspectors telephoned to the Fat Controller. "I'll send Rosie at once," he said. A few days later, Thomas was told to go to the harbour. It was a cold, drizzly morning, and Thomas was being fussy. "Why did I have to come down here?" he huffed. "I should be looking out for my passengers." He soon heard a familiar whistle. Thomas suddenly felt cold. "Oh no, not her!" Puffing through the drizzle came Rosie. Her headlamp shone brightly. "Hello, Thomas," she smiled. "Nice to see you after so long." Thomas paused. He remembered Rosie well and how she tried to copy him. This made him uncomfortable, but he didn't want to be rude. "Hello, Rosie. Are you standing in for Percy?" "I think so," chirped Rosie. "I was told that you'd show me around the harbour for today." Thomas felt a little more awkward. He didn't want to be stuck with Rosie all day. "All right," he said after a pause. "Follow me." A little later, the drizzle turned to fog. It was thick and laid close to the water. Thomas and Rosie had to be careful how and where they went. Thomas, who did work the goods line often, was very out of his depth. "How on earth does Percy get around here?" "Probably without the fog, and by being shorter," laughed the driver. Thomas did not appreciate the joke. He felt cramped and lost. He then saw a dark shape looming in the distance. He braked quickly but couldn't stop himself, bumping into some buffers. The buffers, or rather trucks, rolled away. "Does Percy never keep this place tidy?" Thomas fumed. He then felt someone buffering up behind him. It was Rosie. She slowly guided Thomas out of the siding and back towards the harbour entrance. "Are you okay, Thomas?" "Yes," said Thomas shortly. "I'm fine. I'm sure Percy doesn't mean to keep the harbour untidy. I'll look after everything until he gets back." "Good riddance." Thomas suddenly wondered. "How were you able to find me through this fog?" "Well, you were shouting," giggled Rosie. Thomas humphed. "But I got a radio call saying you went down a siding you shouldn't have, so I went to bring you back." Thomas was surprised. "A radio? Engines don't have radios." "I do," replied Rosie. "It's in my cab. My driver uses it to talk to harbour masters when I have to help out at harbours or docks. It's very useful, especially in weather like this." Thomas snorted. "Engines are engines, not living rooms. Why bother with a radio when a whistle will do?" "Because sometimes a whistle won't do," said Rosie. "Not in weather like this. And what if the harbour was very busy? I would need my radio to hear where I need to go." "Huh! Very little chance of that happening here." And Thomas bustled off to organise some trucks. Rosie was left feeling hurt. The little engine soon learned where everything had to be, and she managed very well. She could go where Thomas could not and was good with the trucks. Rosie also gave Thomas a wide berth. "He's just upset he's not with his passengers," said her driver. "He'll come around." All the same, Rosie made sure to leave him well enough alone. As the day drew on, the fog grew thicker and the sky became darker. Out at sea, a fishing boat was caught up in a strong current and fighting to make it into port. The engine strained, coughed, and stopped. black smoke poured onto the deck. "We'll be scuppered!" cried the sailors. The captain held firm. "Prepare the lifeboat, men! Send an SOS to shore!" The crew frantically scrambled to their places. They could see the coast coming closer and closer. Back at the harbour, Rosie was taking on water. The fireman replaced the filler cap and Rosie was all set to go. Just then, her radio crackled. "The harbour master?" asked the driver. But it wasn't the harbour master. The crew listened closely through the static. "SOS! SOS! Ship adrift! Ship adrift!" Rosie was horrified. "Respond to them! Tell them we'll send help!" The driver did so whilst the fireman grabbed a lamp from Rosie's front and ran to the harbour master's office. Rosie trembled as she watched him disappear. "I hope those sailors can be rescued." "Don't you worry, Rosie," said her driver. "They will if we have anything to say about it." Thomas was still grumpily going about his work. He didn't want to be in the harbour and he didn't want to be working with Rosie. "Stupid fog, stupid Rosie, and stupid old radios," he grumbled to himself. Just then, the blue engine heard a low, familiar buzzing. He groaned and promptly lost his temper. "Harold, why are you buzzing about like that? Go away, whirly-bird!" Harold coughed crossly, narrowly missing the steam blasting from Thomas's safety valve. "Ease on the pressure there, old chap! Can't be helped! Had a little rescue call." "A rescue?" "Poor sailors adrift at sea. All safe and sound. Cheerio!" And Harold buzzed away into the fog. Thomas was left confused. He wondered where the rescue call had come from and why he had not heard it. The next morning, Thomas and Rosie were being oiled and checked in the sheds. "Did you hear?" asked Thomas's driver. "No, what?" said the fireman. "About those sailors yesterday. Them were nearly lost at sea. Good old Rosie saved them." "Pooh," scoffed Thomas. "So she can swim like a boat now, can she?" "Of course not," laughed Rosie's driver. He then explained everything. Rosie felt very proud. "Well, Thomas, I did tell you my radio was useful." Thomas was abashed. "I see." He looked at his buffers. "Well done on helping those sailors." "Thank you, Thomas." Thomas chuckled. "You have really grown up a bit since you first arrived on Sodor." Rosie laughed. "I suppose I have." She looked at Thomas with a cheeky grin. "How would you like a radio, Thomas? You could be all up to date like me." "Pah," teased Thomas. "Be off with you." Rosie scampered away to the harbour, chuckling to herself. Thomas hadn't changed a bit. But she didn't know what Thomas really thought. He was now more respectful of Rosie, for he knows that thanks to her, help may only be a radio call away.